welcome to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Ray.
My name is Mike.
So, Mike, what have you been
Well,
up to?
that's quite an intro there.
Yeah, what have you been up to this past week?
I've been playing. Well, I've been building a computer. I don't
Yeah,
think I broke anything, and it went
go on.
well. So I
Well,
pick
you
up a.
can't say the words. I'm building a computer without announcing your specs. That's just not allowed.
Okay, well I got a 1070.
Uh huh.
I got an i7.
Uh huh.
Got 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
I've got a good motherboard.
Okay, you're not sure which one you got.
I think it's a Gigabyte Z170.
If you're anything like me, who does not care that much about motherboards, and I realize I sound like a luddite saying that, relatively speaking, I'm like, whatever motherboard's going to work with the processor I want. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
give me
kind of
that one,
that
mid
was kind of
range.
my understanding. It's just as long as you have a chipset that's kind of compatible, then
Hmm.
you should be good to go.
Yeah.
And I just kind of made sure I got one that reviewed pretty well, and it was surprisingly easy. I mean, there were a couple of hiccups here and there that were mostly me just not knowing what I was doing as a first timer,
Right.
but otherwise wasn't too bad. And I've
So
now
what's your plan with this motherboard? Are you not motherboard, but with this computer? Are you going to use it as a media station or just a gaming PC?
a little bit of both. So
All right. All right.
surprise. There you go.
Yeah. No, no surprises here. All right. Sounds good. How you liking it so far?
Well, it has. Here's a good segue. It has plenty of headphone jacks, unlike some other technology.
Beautiful segue. Beautiful. Oh, by the way, Josh is not here again because baby. Uh,
That's how that works.
yeah, that is exactly how that works. For the
They have other babies have 10:49 Eastern scheduled for other important things like baby stuff.
yeah, like crying.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's on their schedule. Cry, go to the bathroom, sleep, and cry. You're hoping they like prioritize the sleep thing, just sleep peacefully, but nope.
Nah. Sorry.
Crying's at the top of the list, and so is making a fuss. But it,
Sorry
it's
about you.
cute. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. I'm actually happy that Josh can't be here because he says I'm taking care of my child. That, if any reason you cannot be present for a tech video game podcast, that's like one of the best ones in my opinion. It's better than like, oh, I'm sick, or stuff's happening, or I wrecked my car. It's like, no, I gotta take care of my kid. Oh, you do your thing.
Yeah, that's normal. That's fine.
Yeah. So, anyways, there were two events that were held on September 7th because why the hell not? Uh,
Oh, we should cover both of those.
Yeah, we are. Don't worry. Don't worry. First of all, Apple held their yearly September event and they announced the iPhone 7. Um, I've been an iPhone user since 2010. Yeah, 2010. And I think that's around the time when they announced the iPhone 4. No, I got the iPhone 5, so I've been an iPhone user since 2000, like 12 or 11 or something like that. And
Hmm.
I always wanted the iPhone. I got the iPhone 5 because it fit the parameters of what I was looking for in the phone. I was looking for a phone that had a decent screen size, which the iPhone 5 had at the time. I was looking for a phone that was LTE enabled because 4G is fine, but LTE is just objectively faster.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons I got an iPhone was because when I was making some like student projects while I was getting my degree, and the iPhone just integrated with a lot of like mobile software I was programming games on, just much easier. It's just the facts. Yeah, I know Android free. You can just throw your game on the Android market, but that's just it. Anybody can just throw their shitty game on the Android market. At least
Yeah.
Apple has some checks and balances, some. But yeah, your game getting noticed in the Android market's like it's just not going to happen as well as you might think it is unless it's really, really good. Anyways, so I watched the i7 event, and there was those rumors for the past year where it's like, hey, we found some prototype pictures. I don't care, but there used to be a point where I did care, but found
Hmm.
prototype pictures, and it looks like this thing won't have a headphone jack. And I'm thinking to myself, Apple's not that stupid. Lo and behold.
And yet, here we
And
are.
yet, here we are talking about an iPhone coming out in 1 month that will not have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack.
That's how do you feel about that, Stan?
I have feelings. Well,
Me too.
one, one, the only reason I upgraded from my iPhone 5 to an iPhone 6s is literally because my iPhone 5 just was starting to stop working. And it works well enough that I gave it to like my family, a family member that wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And they still use it, and they're still using it to this day. Like it still works. It just wasn't working as well as I needed to for me. Like it was shut down every so often. It was just getting old and long in the tooth, and it didn't have a lot of storage space.
Right.
Oh, by the way, the iPhone 7 now comes default with 32 gigs of storage space. That's interesting. Um, which is better, much better. It'll be 32 gigs, 64 gigs, 128. Everyone already knows this. But my opinion of it not having a headphone jack is I have just headphones laying around my computer desk right now. They're for multiple uses. Like I have my Blue Audio headset for when I want to just move around my home and start cleaning things. I have my workout headphones for obviously working out. They're like these little Sony headphones that I can just throw in my ears. They stay in my ears while I run. They're good to go, and the sound is pretty decent. If I have my emergency headphones, which sit in my car, which is like, oh crap, I forgot to bring my headphones to work today or to the gym. I'll just pop these out, and they're like really cheap, chintzy $5 gas station headphones I have. So I just have a lot of 3.5 millimeter headphones just laying
Right,
around, and I
because it's a very convenient medium that is,
been around
universal.
for decades. Yeah, yeah. So Apple says, like in all their wisdom, nah, it's just an old, stupid, tired medium of communicating music.
Hey,
Get Bluetooth
hey,
instead.
hey, don't hate Stan. It was a move that took a lot of courage. Lots and lots of courage. That cut deep. Stan, are you okay? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
dropped off the radar there. It was like, uh-oh. Oh, it's
Yeah, I'm trying to like imagine how much courage it really did take to say, you know what, we just don't want to use this headphone jack in this like brand new product anymore. And I guess the question is like, why? Like, I don't expect my. One of the things I kind of like about the iPhone, well, like I have one right now. I have a
mm-hmm.
6S right now. Is how it's just functional and it only has as many plugs and outlets and holes that it needs to have. It has a headphone jack, it has a charging port, and it has some tiny holes in the sides for the microphone and the speakers. And that's it. And it's really all you need. When you take away one of those, in my opinion, taking away one of those takes away a core functionality of the device. Taking away the headphone jack takes away my ability to listen to music effectively with the device I want to use. So if I was to buy an iPhone 7, I would have to buy a Bluetooth headset. Now, Apple's going to sell, or inside the box, it's going to come with those Apple earpods, which
I
I
think
hate. I hate their earpods.
yeah, I've never been able to wear those the default earbuds.
Yeah, I
Let
think
me
they're
check
garbage.
and see exactly what comes in the box here. I know because I know
It's earbuds
you get an
with
adapter for um, you get a lightning adapter for wired headphones,
yeah.
but
Can you do me a solid and look up how much that adapter is by itself?
let me
Because that would be like the first thing I'd lose.
let's see if looks like, so in the box here you're getting a you get earpods with a lightning connector, so Apple headphones that connect straight into the lightning port. Uh,
Literally, Apple only headphones.
yes.
There used to be a
And then
joke when I. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
you get a converter that converts from the lightning port into 3.5. So it's so I mean, which is it's nice and convenient for them to include that, but it's still like you can't charge your phone while listening to music unless you have
Nope.
wireless headphones. And I guess I mean, I understand. I guess I kind of understand like what they're kind of going for. Like they want to be like, they want to make it like a leap in kind of how people like it's like separating the slavish wired headphones or something or whatever. But I feel like that there's like a wireless head. I mean, wireless phone headphones and technology is obviously like the future, and it's happening to you. Get used to it, apparently. But it's just right now. This for me, it's just a tough like. It's just tough to swallow, I guess, from a
Right.
just a convenience. It's another thing I have to charge. I have to charge a carrying case. If I lose the AirPods themselves, well, the AirPods are actually separate, but yo, those are
Yeah, they're
like,
$160.
yeah, which is
And they're not connected, so if you lose one of them, which is very possible, you're just
like that just seems
really fucked.
so like I guess just I don't know. I mean, great.
Also, they look stupid. Can I just say that AirPods, the Bluetooth ones, they look dumb as hell. You will never see me like purposely buy and wear those.
Yeah, I guess I just have a hard time kind of understanding. Um, I mean, how remove making this such an inconvenient kind of making this kind of such an inconvenient move. Like it's not like we're going from floppy disk to CD here, where it's a clear technical upgrade. It's something that's going. It's pretty universal. Um, yeah, it's just hard for me to see like how I benefit. Like I guess I don't interact with my phone every day, and
Yeah.
and feel like gosh, like if only this phone didn't have a headphone jack. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
literally never crossed my mind. Like, I think the excuse I heard was like, "Oh, they want to make the phone thinner." Like, I don't care if it's any thinner than it is right now. It's pretty freaking thin, all things considered.
yeah, and that's kind of like you said. Like I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm this is why I don't work at Apple, but I just have a hard time imagining that. I just feel like my experience with my phone is never defined by I'm a headphone jack like ugh. Um,
Right.
and so for it to not be there when you have when literally every other kind of electronic device, like your computer, your laptop, your tablet, whatever, has
Hmm.
I mean your controller on your PlayStation, like they all have that headphone jack. So for that to not be there, it's just I guess I just don't really see the benefit. Maybe I'm just blind or whatever. I just don't get it.
I think Apple's trying
Other
to like do
than
a market change. Like there used to be
yeah.
many moons ago, I used to work at a Radio Shack, right? And this was in like 2008. So this is like a year after the iPhone came out, the iPhone 3.
Hmm.
iPhone 3G or whatever, whichever. I don't care. It's when the iPhone was relatively new, since the first model came out in 2007. So the second model comes out in 2008, and you have your customers that come in all the time. They're like, "Hey, will these headphones work with an iPhone?" And inwardly, I would always laugh, like, literally any pair of headphones with a 3.5 millimeter jack will work with your iPhone. Your iPhone is not so fucking special that it won't just accept any regular cheap piece of shit gas station pair of headphones. And then, with the iPhone 7, well, that is now a legitimate question.
Yeah, it's
We've
just
come full circle.
yeah, like I don't know. I just like we should just move on. That's kind of our thoughts. We'll see how this whole thing turns out, and we'll go from there.
I can't wait to see what the market tries to adjust to this, because the market does adjust to whatever Apple makes. I know a lot of people. I said this like one time at work. I said, it's really kind of in vogue or kind of trendy, I guess, to hate on Apple products. But as much as people like to admit it, Apple products do set a standard.
I mean,
because they're just high quality
mhm.
built products.
And when you have
They're not pieces of shit.
yeah, and when you have billions of people, around the world who use your product, you have a built-in audience for anything you do. So it's pretty. I think it's pretty. I think I mean, in case this isn't obvious, they're pretty much the only people who could even say this and like get away with it. So, again,
Oh
it'll
yeah,
be.
imagine if Samsung said, "Yeah, we're
Oh
not
my god,
releasing a headphone jack."
It- that'd be
Already Apple
hilarious.
did it and no one's like buying it. If Samsung did it, they're like, "Oh well, fuck you."
So, well, that was the. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have much more to say on this other than I guess we'll
Nah.
find out. But
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not buying one.
we should talk about that Sony panel.
Yeah, there was a Sony thing, and that Sony thing involved they had finally announced whatever the PlayStation Neo was, and
Well, they apparently were the last people to figure out that everyone else already knew about it.
mm-hmm.
Uh, but they have officially announced the Slim and the Pro SKUs of the PlayStation 4. I think the Slim is only a couple weeks out, and I think the Pro is due in November, I believe.
I'm on the pre-order site right now, so I can give you an exact date. November 10th,
November 10th. Okay.
2016.
Um,
Yeah.
and this was another kind of interesting panel. I don't know if you got a chance to watch a lot of it, but I watched a little bit of the stream. And,
Mm-hmm.
as someone who wasn't in the audience, I lost my invitation. Um,
Yeah, I know you
yeah,
did.
that's what happened. Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I guess it was just kind of hard to tell exactly how this moves the needle. Um, I do think it's a pretty good price point for something that's, definitely,
$400. That's
definitely.
fair.
I think if you really don't care about it, then you can get a PS4 at a great price, at that 299 for the Slim, and if
Mm-hmm.
you're willing to pay an extra 100 for some games that might look a little sharper, or might have just a little bit better performance, then go for it. Um, it's just I didn't really get a good sense of like, whoa, okay, this is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I didn't, and I mean, and I was skeptical when this stuff first started leaking of how do we make sure that the pro version doesn't become the like it's like okay this is a really shitty example, but to make sure that you're not getting the 2014 gameplay trailer No Man's Sky on the Pro and 2016 No Man's Sky on the standard models. Like, that's, again, like, I fully understand how just absolutely shitty and, like, pot shot of an example that was, but that's kind of
No,
like,
they have it coming.
but that's kind
Never
of,
forget.
yeah, that's kind of like my question as long as they make sure that, I mean, I know the games can't be fundamentally different, but that's, there's a lot of wiggle room there, so we'll have to see how
Let's
well.
talk about what the difference between the Pro and the current SKU is, like the one everyone can buy. So basically, what's the difference between this and the Slim? All right. First of all, it's smaller. Congrats, you made a more powerful gaming console that was actually smaller. That's actually impressive.
Mother of God.
Right. Uh, it will slightly enhance your graphics compared to other PS4 games. They're not being specific into how it will. They're just saying it will. Like, all right, go on. It promises to deliver faster frame rates for other PS4 titles. So once again, no specifics. Literally zero specifics in that I
Mm-hmm.
saw. Like I'm imagining that means some 30 frame per second games will now go to 60. So imagine, Bloodborne going from 30 to 60. Gorgeous, freaking
Yeah, I
gorgeous.
mean,
Play Bloodborne the way it was meant to be played.
now that's the kind of I guess that would be the kind of stuff that I would have really sold me on a pro in terms of the value of it.
Hmm.
But they were mostly pitching it as your game is in 4K now, which is a little bit disingenuous because it's not native 4K. It's upscaled from 1080.
No, it's only promises to upscale video content. They didn't promise games would be upscaled to 4K. They were pretty specific about that.
Yeah, so that seems a little odd to me to kind of walk that line of this thing is it 4K? Is it not 4K? I mean, if
It
it's
can play 4K video content, and it will automatically upscale video content that is not in 4K, but it is not a 4K Blu-ray player.
that's the for me that's the weird thing about
And
the
that's
Pro.
like the missed sale for me, you know?
Yeah, like that's the weird part because I mean it's just it like I don't know if it was a cost like they just couldn't get it down or something, but the fact that the Xbox One S, which is basically it's just it's the it's the Slim of the Xbox that has a 4K Blu-ray player, and the
But was the Xbox One Pro, or what are they calling it?
that this is
Project
the
Scorpio?
no, it's not
Yeah,
the
Project
Scorpio.
Scorpio is supposed to actually have a Blu-ray player in it.
Yeah, but so does the my point here,
A
Ray,
4K one, I should say.
is that the S has one too. The one that's coming out this fall has a 4K Blu-ray player in it.
Oh, does the Xbox One S have a 4K Blu-ray player in it?
Yes.
Huh. I didn't know that.
And so it's super weird because the Xbox One has that. The Xbox One has that, and then the S has that, and then the PS Pro doesn't have that. Like I'd understand that not making it into the Slim, but for it to not be there in the Pro and to be and for the it to be in essentially the Slim Xbox One, it, considering Sony's basically the reason why we have Blu-ray in the first place, like what? I just like it boggles my mind. Like what happened?
Fun story for those listening to this podcast that don't know. Since Sony invented Blu-ray, Microsoft has to cut a check for every single Blu-ray formatted console that they ship to Sony. I think it's like a bulk check. Like, we shipped 100,000. Here's your money. Here's the money for your property. So it's really weird, as you just said, for Sony, the inventors of this technology, to not have the next step of that said technology
I mean,
in their own console.
especially considering they use the PlayStation 3 as like a as to drive home Blu-ray and to make it one of the first, well, quote affordable unquote Blu-ray players to get kind of mass produced.
Yeah.
So it just like that just seems like a really weird move. And for me, I guess I wasn't really planning on getting a Pro, but not really having a good sense of what kind of performance. I mean, it's just kind of the nature of how they presented it because, if we're watching it on a stream, we're probably not really going to get a full full kind of what the upscale 4K visuals look like, what the HDR updates look like to kind of take you or make use of HDR in TVs that can display blacker blacks and brighter brights and stuff like that. So for the Pro and the Slim to like the Slim, I think is it's a just good PS4 for $299 is a great price. That's great. That's awesome. But
$299 for a 4K Blu-ray player, though.
that's the thing. It's just like that's so killer. Like,
Yeah.
how did I don't.
So
Yeah,
here's my thoughts. Microsoft is doing this at a fucking loss. At a huge loss. Maybe not a huge one.
I mean that's not too hard to imagine, but especially considering that, I mean it's a pretty smart play at this point because you can get a 4K Blu-ray player for $299. And it's an Xbox, and it's an Xbox, and it's not a PlayStation, which is a big fucking deal. Especially because this generation, like you're gonna have so much attach rate with people not wanting to leave behind their digital titles and stuff like that. Because digital sales were there before, obviously, but I mean this generation it's been digital. Like digital sales has been apart since day one. So getting people this generation, you're going to be able to keep them around for a long time, in my opinion. But it's just like that's just so weird to me, and that's what kind of makes me raises my eyebrows about the Pro. Is just that it's $100 more than the console that's it's obviously more powerful in terms of just the hardware, but it doesn't have that 4K Blu-ray player. Like, can't you just like really? I know it's just bizarre. Like, huh?
So, uh, I actually am a person in the market for another PS4, and I was looking at the PS4 Pro, and I was waiting for it to like kind of dazzle me, kind of justify the purchase. It just doesn't anymore, you know. Like I don't have a 4K TV. Not that I'm not in the market for one,
Yeah,
but
that's the thing too. Is at the very least, like, it's probably not worth even considering the Pro if you don't have a 4K TV.
oh yeah, that just why at that point? Just why?
Like, it's
It
not.
might play your games better. Is that
It's
really worth the extra
it's not
$100?
really going to move the needle for you in any
No.
great way.
Yeah, there's
Um,
nothing on here that to me is saying, yeah, definitely drop an extra Benjamin on this system.
yeah,
Like,
I get it was
why?
just like technically this is a bit nitpicky, but it was just a weird presentation. I mean, it didn't really for something it's been kind of anticipated for months and it's been out there for months. I don't know if it was just knowing so much about it really killed the hype, but it was it just didn't really seem. I guess people aren't. I'm not super excited about like, whoa! I can't wait to like see what this thing can do. This is such an exciting product for people. This is gonna be really cool. Like I don't. It just. I feel like it didn't really move the needle for them. And for this being for the Pro being like the flagship, didn't really just. It wasn't exactly a strong first step.
So I like this comment here that I found on GameStop's reviews. This is really reflective and really kind of indicative of Sony in the past like 3 months. One, raises the cost of a PlayStation Plus subscription by $10 more a year. They charge you extra for backwards compatibility with their PlayStation Now subscriptions, which, by the way, they just introduced to PCs, and I'm going to investigate that. You know what? That's not the worst thing ever.
That
But still,
sounds
they.
that sounds like something we should definitely investigate and see
Oh, yeah.
how maybe and or probably fucked that is because that's so weird. You
It
should
is
try it.
weird. Um, I'll give it a shot. Why not? I'll just buy a PS Plus PlayStation 4 controller and hook it up to my laptop and see how that goes. Uh, will not use Bethesda game mods. Will not have cross-platform play support. No 4K Blu-ray player in their upcoming PlayStation Pro console. So
It's
yeah.
been
What's going on, Sony?
it's been a man. It's been a weird couple months, and that and
Remember when
not
you guys were the market leaders? What's going on here? You just don't care anymore? Is that what it is?
yeah. I mean the not to be like not to project or anything here, but I mean having the four like I think you said it yourself, having the 4K Blu-ray player and the Xbox One S, that is like there's no way.
I regret never
I
buying an
don't think
Xbox
there's
One S.
any way they're making a margin on that thing. Like
No,
right?
no,
There's no way, right?
not even. No. I, hold on. Let me. As much as I work in the industry, I don't make consoles. I have no idea how much each one of those parts are. But if you go over online right now to just buy just a 4K Blu-ray player, the cheapest one sells for $400, and all it does is play Blu-rays and stream
Dang.
content. That is the bare bones cheapest one. So to get a $300 4K Blu-ray player
That's
in a gaming console,
yeah, that's also a pretty solid console. I mean,
yeah.
that's a pretty freaking it's a pretty sweet deal, and
Uh,
it's such a sweet deal that I'm really surprised that Sony didn't think about doing the same thing.
I don't
But
know.
I don't know if Sony's ever been one to. I can't remember. You know, let me let me check something.
You got taken aback. I'm actually probably going to get the slim model, honestly.
I mean, I know Sony's. Um, I mean, because the PS4 sold at a loss initially. I mean, I think that they've done pretty well for themselves.
PS3, I think.
The PS3 too.
PS3 sold the PS3 when it first came out. The $600 model sold at a $200 loss.
Dang. Fuck.
Yeah. uh,
That
what was
explains
it?
so much.
Yeah, it was the 599 version
Hmm.
cost $801 to make.
Jeez. They've been kind of doing hardware at a loss. It's they're no strangers to that.
Well,
So again, I don't know if that this is like the Slim and the Pro branding is to kind of try and recoup that. I mean, it just seems again it's like it's a really good. It's not so much as it's a weird move from Sony, but I think it's more of a crazy move from Microsoft to put that in there to give people a $399 or a $299 like blue 4K player. Like that's insane. Blows my damn mind.
huh. The I didn't know this. The PS4 Slim has no optical port. For
Weird.
you hardcore audio guys, that means it will not support Dolby 7.1 surround sound natively through digital optical. Which, yeah, that's weird. That's odd. I got it. It's a cost saving measure, but damn, that's not the same as removing the headphone port, but it's one step below that.
Shit's weird.
So, yeah, September 7th was a disappointing day.
It was a very weird day. That's what I know.
We should stop. We should stop podcasting on depressing things. I should probably talk about what games I'm playing lately, just to kind of pick up the mood a bit. Hyrule Warriors in the 3DS. Uh, it's good. It's
Really?
fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool.
It's
Sweet.
fun. The Circle Pad Pro, the Circle Pad on that thing is not the best controller for constantly like moving around, hacking and slashing. It's just not. It's actually
No.
kind of really bad for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like any day now I'm gonna accidentally pop it off and it'll just shear off.
That can happen.
Like
So
I felt that way while playing Smash Brothers, especially playing against you. I'm like this because Smash gets a little intense as it should.
yeah.
And you're just like, oh, come on, I'm gonna beat this guy's ass. And you're just moving the control stick a little too hard, and you know that thing isn't like held there by like metal.
Hmm.
It really is just like plastic holding it there. You have to be a little bit more careful.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
it's I think it's a generally good piece of hardware, but I've definitely had a couple with lately I've been like, "Oh, that button feels weird now. That might be broken." Huh. Okay.
uh, did I mention what happened in PAX last time?
No.
Okay, so this year's PAX I wanted to cover real quick. I went to the expo floor. I went to the other events about PAX also, and some things I noticed about PAX. The expo floor was like the smallest I'd ever seen it, and it's because a lot of gaming companies are starting to do combined booths. Like
Ooh.
you will see booths showing off multiple games, even for companies that they hadn't worked for. So they're no stranger to this. Like the Corsair booth is showing off Counter Strike
Mhm.
because they're just showing off like, hey, we're a hardware company, but here's some games that run on our hardware, and I get that, and that makes sense. But I saw just with the Square Enix booth just a ton of different games. It wasn't just like one game in the booth. It was like I don't know, 12. It was actually the point I'm trying to get at is it was a very compact expo floor. Like the times I've been to, they don't call it PAX Prime anymore. They call it PAX West. The times I've been to the Seattle PAX, the PAX West, I guess as it is, they've been huge. It's taken up like half of the entire floor. It's used to be 2 floors big. It was just gigantic. And this year it's like one floor off to the side. There's just enough expo space, not even that crowded. I got to see the guy, the guy from the game For Honor. Uh, the one with the beard, the one that looks like the Pirate King.
I do not know who that is,
That man
but
is
I will
majestic.
assume that was everything you wanted it to be and more.
I got to meet the game designers for Enter the Gungeon. Cool ass people. Uh yeah, PAX was good this year, but the no gigantic game announcements that I can say. I just took note that the expo floor is just shrinking, and with what we saw at E3, where a bunch of people are pulling out, more and more companies are starting to just not go to these giant expo things because that floor space is expensive. Let me be very clear when I say that. When people say, "I wonder why these companies aren't going there," do you know how much money a company has to pay for that floor space? Um,
And all the
I,
logistics too, like sending people out and
Yeah, plane tickets, flying all your equipment there. Then you have to pay the people that are actually working the event, whether it's like contractors or the actual representatives. And if it's actual representatives from the company, you've taken them out the office, so you don't have the day to day going. Now they're all going to like this press event or this player event or what have you. So it's always been a hassle, but now with the ubiquity of the internet and just finding the players through there, it's getting to the point where it's like on the day, I think EA kind of has a good idea. On the day when you announce a game, do something smart and make like the beta of the game available, and just talk about it then. And then you don't need to have a gigantic press event where people have to pay hundreds of dollars for plane tickets and hundreds of dollars to get to an event. They're just like, oh, cool, you announced this game. Can I try it out? Cool, awesome. Let me pre-order it right now. I don't endorse pre-ordering, by the way, at all. But that's an option, and that's the smarter option, and it's so much cheaper. You save sometimes millions of dollars doing it that way.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I just
So I
pre
don't know
I
how
just
much longer
pre-ordered
like these.
something today.
What
I know. I broke the golden unscripted gaming rule. I'm sorry.
did you pre-order?
The Destiny expansion.
That what the
You get a
That
gal
doesn't even make sense.
you get a Galler horn. It's made of iron. It looks cool.
Oh,
Oh my god.
they
I know.
caught you.
They
They
got me.
caught your ass.
They got me so good.
Oh my gosh. I had a friend who was just like, I'm not going to pre-order a freaking expansion. Then at the end of the commercial, because they were talking to me mid-commercial, at the end of the commercial, like, pre-order now to get the Galahorn. And they're like, what?
This changes everything.
Having played Destiny Year 1, yes, the Galahorn's good, but come on, everyone. Come on. Come on.
I missed it. I need my galley. And I need
Pre-ordering a digital expansion is actually ridiculous.
it's my galley and I need it now.
Logistically speaking, that is ridiculous.
I just want to guarantee my copy, Stan.
Oh my gosh.
I need it. What if Sony runs out?
What
You
if
never know.
Activision or Bungie runs out of the code?
You never know.
Are you still getting back into Destiny?
I am. I kind of go through lulls in that game, and with Rise of Iron coming up soon, and I just I always I check in every few months, see, because I think the Rise of Iron update went live, so everything's no longer things are the Taken King stuff. It's all moved over to the. There's been a couple redesigns. They changed a couple of things for the better. I still think I really like that game. It was one of my favorite games last year. And there's some
I
really
like what that game could have been.
yeah, it's pretty good. It's gotten it's come a long way, Stan. I think you should.
I,
I think you. I think you should give
so
it a chance.
one of the people I work with actually helped make Destiny, and I can't say on the podcast, but once we get offline, I got some fun stories for you about the development of that game.
Oh, I can't. That's going to be one of those like really interesting tell-alls. Up there with
Oh,
like number 2 anticipated tell-all book other than the Trump campaign.
I can't wait for that. Oh
Not
man.
not to get political. It's a free country, but hoo boy.
That'll be a. I'll read the hell out of that book.
That's all I gotta say is just, "Ooh boy."
Oh man. Oh man. Just release that. Here's your $20. I don't even care. All right. I think that's all we got for the week.
I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
Video
So
video games will get. We've been having a couple pretty negative podcasts lately. Video games will get good again, people. We promise.
video games are kind of in this weird place right now, but there's a lot of good games on the horizon. There really is a lot of really good games. So I have Deus Ex Human Revolution loaded up. I'll check back in on that.
Ooh, yeah, dude, scope that out. Do it.
Not Human Revolution. I'm sorry, Mankind Divided. I apologize. Well, we already covered the whole microtransaction thing on there. I just waited for the fervor of it to die down. I wanted to see if Square Enix was going to like make any sort of like changes to the game, like get rid of some of the stupid ass microtransactions because I can't really just blindly support. But the game's been the game's been out for 2 weeks. Once the game's been out 2 weeks, honestly, that's when like the highest sales of the game have died down. Now I would be one of those trickle customers, and I will just kind of trickle in. Here's your $60. Let me pick the game up.
I trickled into Destiny, and look where I am now. It can happen to you.
But it's not a massive multiplayer. It's not a multiplayer game.
Just wait.
Although it wants desperately to be.
Just
That's
do it. We need to end this now. Hey, this has been Unscripted Gaming. You can find us on a couple places. Unscript_gaming on Twitter.
Yep.
Unscripted Gaming on YouTube.
Yep.
And we have a Facebook page that's also just Unscripted Gaming.
Oh, we do.
All right. Hey.
I think that's about it.
Signing off.
My name is Ray.
My name is Mike. I'll catch you all later.
I'm going to go ahead and steal Josh's line. Peace.
Bye.